I was standing in the groom's suite adjusting my tie when my best man walked in with his phone. His face was white. "You need to see this," he said. That's when I realized my wedding day was about to become a nightmare. My fiancé's ex had spent 2 years pretending to be fine with us. Then, 3 weeks before the ceremony, he made his move. He contacted our guests. He showed up at the venue. He was trying to get into our wedding, and when that didn't work, he was trying to sabotage it from the outside. What I didn't expect was that stopping him would force me to become someone completely different, someone willing to fight. And what happened next didn't just save our wedding. It changed how I understand love completely. If you've ever felt someone trying to destroy your happiness, or if you've wondered what you'd actually do when pushed to your limit, stay with me. Because this story isn't just about one ex's obsession, it's about what you're willing to do to protect the people you love. By the end of this, you'll understand why boundaries matter more than being liked, and how sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no loudly and clearly. My name is Marcus. I'm 32, work in marketing, and I'm someone who avoids conflict at all costs. I still haven't called my cable company about overcharges because I hate the awkward conversation. That's the kind of guy I am. When I met Sarah at a coffee shop 3 years ago, I wasn't looking for anything serious. She spilled her latte on my shoes, apologized profusely, then insisted on buying me a new one. We talked for 2 hours. I remember thinking, this person is different. She was kind without being saccharine, ambitious without being ruthless. After about 8 months of dating, Sarah mentioned her ex. His name was Derek. They dated for 4 years in college, broke up because they were heading in different directions, and it was pretty amicable from what she told me. She showed me a few pictures. He looked fine, seemed normal. I didn't feel threatened. Why would I? But here's what Sarah didn't tell me, because she genuinely didn't know. Derek had never actually moved on. Over the next 2 years, as Sarah and I fell deeper into each other, Derek apparently went the opposite direction. Sarah would mention he'd message her on her birthday, like photos on Instagram. She thought it was just him being friendly. I noticed it, but I didn't think much of it. My philosophy was simple: trust your partner and don't be insecure about ghosts from the past. When I proposed 6 months before the wedding, I did everything right, got down on one knee. The whole thing. Sarah said yes before I could even get the ring out of the box. We started planning immediately. The wedding was going to be small but meaningful, 80 people. Her closest friends, my family, our community. June, a Saturday afternoon, an outdoor garden venue about an hour outside the city. I remember when Derek found out. Sarah posted the engagement photo on Instagram. He commented within minutes, "Congratulations, you deserve to be happy." It seemed respectful. I actually thought, okay, good, he's genuinely happy for her. I was so wrong about that. The next 6 months were a whirlwind. Flowers, vendors, rehearsal dinner. Sarah's mom helped with details. My sister was a bridesmaid. Everything was coming together beautifully. We'd talk late at night about what our marriage would be like, where we'd travel, what our life would look like in 5 years. Then 3 weeks before the wedding, Sarah got a text from her mother. Derek had called her, said he needed to talk before the wedding, said he had something Sarah needed to know. That's when things got dark. Sarah called me immediately. She sounded shaken. Derek wanted to meet with her alone, supposedly to tell her something critical. Sarah's instinct was to refuse, but part of her was curious. They'd been together 4 years. They had history. I told her, don't meet him alone. Whatever he has to say, he can say it in front of me. But that's where the first layer of his plan became clear. Derek sent her a message saying he'd only talk to her in private. Said it was personal. He was creating a wedge, and I could see it happening in real time. Sarah was torn. She wanted to believe he'd moved on, but this sudden urgency felt wrong to both of us. She agreed to meet him at a coffee shop near her office public place. Short visit. I waited in my car in the parking lot, which probably wasn't my finest moment, but I wasn't going to have my fiancé ambushed. When Sarah came out 20 minutes later, her face was completely different, closed off, angry and confused. He told me he was in love with me, she said. He said he made a mistake letting me go, and that he couldn't let me marry you without telling me the truth. My chest tightened, but I stayed calm. What did you tell him? I told him I was marrying you, that I loved you, that what he was feeling was nostalgia, not love. For the first time in all of this, I wondered if staying calm was actually cowardice, if protecting myself from this conflict meant I wasn't protecting Sarah at all. What if she needed me to be angry? What if she needed me to go find him and make it clear this wasn't acceptable? I felt this doubt creep in. Like maybe my conflict-averse nature was actually a weakness when it mattered most. But then Sarah squeezed my hand. "I'm telling you this because I trust you to handle it," she said, and that shifted something in me. It got worse fast. 2 weeks later, Sarah's best friend Jessica called in a panic. Derek had reached out to her on Facebook. He was trying to get information about our wedding, where it was held, what time it started. He was saying he wanted to be there for Sarah. Jessica told him nothing and told Sarah everything. I felt this cold clarity settle in. He wasn't just harboring feelings, he was gathering intelligence, and I started replaying every interaction. The Instagram comment, the message to Sarah's mom, the timing of everything. The night before the rehearsal dinner, our venue coordinator called. Derek had phoned asking if he could attend the wedding. Said he was a close family friend and wanted to celebrate. When she asked for his name on the guest list, he hung up. He was going to show up, uninvited, 3 days before the ceremony. And I finally understood. This wasn't about telling Sarah his feelings. This was about disruption. About creating a scene that would either derail the wedding or recast it as something filled with drama and pain. That's when I realized I wasn't dealing with someone in love. I was dealing with obsession. And obsession plus access equals danger. The rehearsal dinner was that Friday night. I pulled Sarah aside before it started. "We need to talk about Derek," I said, "and we need a plan." I could see the weight on her face. She felt guilty somehow, like she was responsible for his feelings, for his behavior. That guilt is something I want to address directly. If you're watching and feeling the same thing, you're not responsible for managing someone else's emotions. You're not. Derek made choices. His obsession wasn't Sarah's fault, but we had to decide how to handle this. I laid out what I was thinking. He's going to show up to the wedding, either the ceremony or the reception. We need security there. If he arrives, he doesn't come in. He gets escorted out politely but firmly. No scene, no drama, but absolute boundaries. Sarah looked at me for a long moment. "You don't think I should just message him? Tell him he's not welcome?" "That invites negotiation," I said. "It gives him a chance to explain himself, to try to change your mind. We've already had that conversation." His answer is no. He doesn't get to plead his case at our wedding. Sarah nodded slowly, and then she said something I'll never forget. "I don't want to spend my wedding day waiting for him to ruin it. I want to be present with you. So yeah, do it." I hired 2 security people, not intimidating bouncers, but professional event security. I briefed them on Derek's appearance, his name. Told them clearly, if he shows up, he doesn't enter. They had authority to remove him if he became difficult. But I also did something that felt uncomfortable but necessary. I contacted Derek myself. I found his number and called him. No text, no message. A direct call. He answered on the second ring. "Marcus?" "Yeah," I said. "I want to be clear about something. You're not welcome at my wedding. Sarah doesn't want you there. I don't want you there, and you won't be let in. I'm telling you this as a courtesy so you understand. Showing up would be embarrassing for everyone, especially you. I'm asking you not to come." There was silence. "Then, she doesn't feel that way." "She does," I said. "I was there. She told you it was over. This is over. Please respect that." He hung up. I didn't know if he'd actually show up. Probability was maybe 50-50. But the moment I made that call, something shifted in me. I wasn't waiting around for his decision anymore. I was making the terms clear. I was protecting my family because that's what Sarah had become. Family. I barely slept that night. But I felt different. Calmer, because I'd stopped being reactive and started being active. I'd stopped hoping Derek would do the right thing and started making sure my boundaries didn't depend on his choices. Wedding day arrived, June 14th, sunny, about 70 degrees, perfect. I won't lie, I was nervous. Part of me kept watching for Derek. Security was positioned at the entrance. I'd briefed my best man. Sarah didn't know all the details. I wanted her mind focused on us, not on him. The ceremony started at 3 o'clock. As I stood at the altar watching Sarah walk down the aisle, I felt something I can only describe as peace. She was smiling, genuinely smiling, not looking around nervously, just completely present, eyes locked on mine. Through the entire ceremony, Derek didn't show up. During the reception, around the dinner hour, I got a text from security. He called asking if he could be added to the guest list. We declined and removed his number from messages. That was it. He tried one last time through a different angle. They shut it down. That was the end of it. We found out later, through Sarah's friend Jessica, that Derek actually drove to the venue, got as far as the parking lot, then apparently sat in his car for 30 minutes before leaving. I think he finally understood that he couldn't disrupt what he was trying to disrupt. His presence was no longer wanted or needed. The story had moved on without him. As Sarah and I danced to our first song, everything in my body unclenched. We'd made it, not just through the ceremony, through the attempt to destroy it. Here's what I learned that I want to share with you. Protecting the people you love sometimes means being uncomfortable. It means setting boundaries that feel harsh. It means accepting that someone else's feelings aren't your responsibility to manage. We've been married 2 years now. Derek still follows Sarah on Instagram, still likes her photos occasionally, but he's in the past where he belongs, and we've built something real in the present. If you're dealing with someone who won't let go of you or someone you love, don't wait for them to make the right choice. Set your boundaries clearly, get support, and understand that sometimes love means saying no loudly and firmly. The best revenge isn't anything dramatic. It's building a beautiful life despite someone's attempts to destroy it. It's choosing to move forward. Here's the thing people don't tell you. Peace isn't passive, it's protected. Love doesn't avoid conflict. It chooses what's worth fighting for. That's what Sarah and I did. And I've never been happier,